Hey guys, I just want to make a real quick summary video. Finished everything up. I'm back home now. Um, so the brand, CrushNet brand, um, it was an interesting ride. It was longer than I expected. I had to increase it by 1 day, stretch it out 1 day. The wind was killing me. The like 2 or 3 of the days it was straight in my face. That made it very difficult. I trained very hard for this, lost a ton of weight, and yeah, it ended up being a little bit harder than what I expected. Um, and it wasn't because of the length, it was mainly because of the wind and just the 1 day, the second day, Scottsbluff to Ogallala, no, Scottsbluff to Oshkosh. That day killed me. That was an 80 mile day against a 20-mile-an-hour headwind, and it tore me up. And now the third day actually was probably my best day of the ride. The day that I rode around Ogallala Lake and had a big climb that day, but I felt great and um, saw some beautiful sights. I mean, that was a fun day, which is bizarre because it was after the hardest day that I had. But then a few of the other days, I had some severe bike problems, just some frustrations. One day I had 4 flats in 1 day, um, and another day, um, I I just had issues. My day in at my brother's place, I got up in the morning and I went to take out or went to pack everything on my bike, load it into the back of his truck because he had construction in front of his house, so had to get dropped off where I got picked up. Um, anyway, I went to go get my bike and I had a flat back tire. I don't know what the deal was. So it was flat. I change it out. I'm airing it up, and all of a sudden the thing blows, explodes. I have one tube left, one CO2 canisters left, and that's it. So I go to put that on, and that thing blew up again, exploded as I'm filling it up. I went ballistic. I had a little temper tantrum. I ended up throwing I had the CO2 cartridge in my hand with the adapter that I used to fill up the tubes. That ended up someplace across the lawn. I got all mad and I threw it, and turns out I couldn't find it after that, so that's not good. But yeah, I was pissed at that point. I was not happy. And my brother said, "Well, do they have the tubes at Walmart?" And so we looked it up, and yeah, they had some tubes there. So, and it was in Fremont, so it was right where I was going to be dropped off anyway. We went to Walmart, picked up the tubes, and as I'm fixing that last tube or putting on the new tubes from Walmart, I noticed that I had a rip in the sidewall of my gator skins, the tires. I had in the rear tire, I had a rip in it, which totally explained why that morning anyway I was getting the flats. If you have a rip in the sidewall, the tube will bubble out through the hole and explode. So I'm like, well, that's just terrific. Um, uh, but fortunately, I actually packed a spare tire. I had a rip in my tire in my gator skins like 2 weeks prior to this trip, and I ordered new ones, and I actually ordered a spare. And I thought there is no possible way I'm going to use this tire, but I'm going to throw it in my bag just in case. Um, I know it takes up room, but what are the odds? Turns out I needed it, so I'm glad that I had it in there. Aired up the tire, and it was fine after that, and I was able to make the last 40-mile stretch home to to the border, and that was good. But honestly, this ride was mentally a challenge. It was a frustrating time, a good chunk of it, um, and it just wasn't. It wasn't fun. Most of it. I mean, there were some fun parts, and I got to see a lot of friends along the way, um, and that part of it was great. Getting together with some of my old North Platte buddies and um, spending some time with my buddy Dale in Omaha after the ride was done. That was awesome. But as far as the ride goes, it was a challenge. And I think part of the problem was it is so much more difficult when you're doing this solo than it is with a group ride. I did the BAK last year, which was the bike across Kansas. That ride, um, you're riding with 250, 300 people. And honestly, by the third, fourth day, I was done with the people. I ride solo all the time. I like my solitude time, but there is some competitive juice in me, and when I see somebody ahead of me, it's going to power me to catch up with them and or keep up with them or whatever the case may be. It's different than when you're in a lonely road all by yourself and then your mind keeps telling you, man, you're tired. Oh, this wind stinks. Oh, this is horrible. When you're all by yourself, a lot of it can be mentally challenging, and you can beat yourself up pretty good. And so I'm thinking in the future, I've never wanted to do the RAGBRAI, the ride across Iowa, just because it's kind of a party ride and a lot of crazy people do that ride. And I'm not one that likes to be around a lot of people, honestly. But the idea of not having to carry all your stuff with you, they take it from point to point for you. Um, that kind of stuff, that's awesome. So I think I might do that next year. Um, all right, I just wanted to leave a summary. I'm also attaching a map of my final ride, my whole ride across. But that's it.